Australia's most eccentric homes. Surprisingly, they've got some big value and some big rental returns. Stay tuned. We're going to show you some of the weirdest. Morning, Nat.
Morning, Billy. It's weird to be like
I know.
facing someone, not the camera.
Not the other person at the end of the line.
Oh no. So Mark is not here today. So the young guns are taking the reins, I guess.
We've got a bit of a strange topic. Behind us is a quite a unique house. The shoe house.
The shoe house. Yeah. So this is. I wouldn't say I've seen anything like this before.
No.
This house, but it's
interesting.
Pretty cool. So what this is actually from, Airbnb is doing this competition to find the most eccentric houses worldwide. So this is one of the many entries that they've got so far.
Yep. But as you said, they're running a bit of a competition. 30 countries worldwide. It looks like they've got access to $14.5 million, and Airbnb are looking to, grant some help, some money towards finding some of the weirdest creations and bringing them to life if they're a bit of an idea.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, like these, I guess you could say, like homestay ideas, they're pretty popular.
Yeah. Well, I was touching on what I said last week with Mark when we were talking about this medieval castle that was in Western Sydney. I was saying it's my dream home.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be a little market for people who want something like a shoe house.
Yep.
And especially with Airbnb, I think it's a smart idea. I think they're trying to fund, after COVID, they're trying to get people back into that whole homestay idea and want something interesting to bring people in.
Keeping holidays local, absolutely. But we've got another few strange homes that we're going to show you this morning. We're going to do a share screen.
There we go.
So this one's your classic double-decker bus. Was sort of commissioned in 2019. I guess it'd be a fun spot to stay for a couple or whatever.
I know, that one's great. This one, I think. My partner's Irish, so I think he would like this one. But if you couldn't tell, it's a big potato. So this is actually in America, in Idaho. And the lady there is the one who owns it. She said it's earned her just over $200K since 2019. This big Idaho potato hotel is what it's called.
And she built it for $32,000. So, I'm not the quickest on the old maths, but that's a pretty good return on investment if I say so myself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And so I would love to hear if anyone did have any cool houses in Australia, because there is this competition. You can win a lot of moolah if you've got, I feel like Australia's got a lot of these though, like the big banana,
the big prawn.
The big prawn.
There's definitely a few of them around. I mean, here is the yellow submarine. Again, cost $14,000 to get going and has earned $69,000 since 2018. So I think it definitely goes to show, you don't need. It's not about a big space anymore. Something a little bit more unique. Obviously, these are not permanent to live in, but it goes to show.
Yourself.
Yeah, it's bigger than my apartment. But yeah, it's definitely cool to see. Some people finding ways to generate a bit of extra money and something a bit different.
So obviously that's the one that we had behind us on the screen.
I love that.
Love it. And then this one here, this one's actually in Australia. Australia's weirdest home is what they're dubbing it.
Yeah, but this one's for sale.
Yeah, so this one...
Or it was for sale.
Yeah, it was for sale back in 2020 for $1.5 million. Let me just get a big one up. There we go.
So this is what $1.5 million can buy you a couple of years ago. The Bubble House.
The Bubble House. And it's got some very weird features. If you look inside, I think it's definitely reaching a very postmodern audience or target market, this one.
But nonetheless, it was designed by an architect. It's structurally put together. It is someone's home. But yeah, interesting to, to see where sort of who the buyer is for that.
Yeah. No, the outdoor area is actually quite nice, say so myself. But this one, it's funny because this one actually does remind me. I was reading yesterday on Domain that if anyone else remembers the Teletubbies show, that the Teletubbies house is actually going up for sale for, I think it was just over
£3.1 million. No, sorry, $3.1 million.
dollars, Australian dollars. So this is the house. Here we go. Teletubbies.
Yeah.
It just shows that even like things like this, nostalgia plays a really big role in these sort of quirky, weird houses, I feel.
Yeah. I think it's hard to turn just your normal, small house with a grass roof into a $3.1 million home. But yeah, it's interesting to see how these, cool, unique designs are, so popular.
Yeah. And again, as we were saying last week, this one is my dream house. This is a medieval castle. I'm sure everyone's probably sick of me talking about it already, but it just really shows there are niche markets everywhere for weirdos.
So what's this one? They've renovated it into a home, have they?
Well, this one, it's actually looked like this since the 70s. There was a guy who moved over here from the UK who was really into history and that era,
yeah,
and just made it look like this. And the people who have been like buying it since, they've just been maintaining it because it's all been really like well designed and kept. So yeah, this one I think is up for sale at the moment.
Amazing.
I really want to put a bid in, but self-control, I think that one is going to take.
That is one of Australia's most unusual homes, that's for sure.
Yeah, the upside down house. And we were talking off air for a little bit, Billy. You were saying that you actually saw a really strange home in the Northern Beaches area. Yeah, so
unfortunately we don't have any photos for you, but we were selling a property in French's Forest, and basically they had like this little trapdoor in a room that came off one of the living spaces, and it went straight down into like their underground, I guess you could say basement, but it literally went down a stepladder. And the whole area was sort of dug out, and it wasn't leveled, but it was smooth and painted white, so you could see where you were going underneath. And they like had it as a kid's sort of play space.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was a bit weird, not gonna lie, but it was very cool, very very unique. And the people at the purchasers, I believe, have got young kids, so no doubt, absolutely love it.
I know. I'm very glad to hear that the purchasers were a family with like kids.
Yeah,
I think I'd be a bit worried if it was just like.
I promise there's no strange bodies down there.
Like, if noise comes through. Oh gosh, but no, I think it's cool to see that. I think quirky houses are sort of becoming a big popular trend. I think just after COVID, I think everyone's spending more time. Well, they were spending more time at home, and they're really focusing now on the home as something to be looked at, something to be cherished, and because they were stuck in it for so long. So I think
absolutely.
It's really cool to see. But I'll share my screen again.
And no doubt, it's people pay big money for quirky. Yeah, and I think when it's a for a weekend or something to get away with mates or whatever, me and my mates used to go down to this place called Yurt Farm, and it was all these little Mongolian yurts, which is basically like a mud hut.
Yeah.
And you just had space to literally put your sleeping bag in there. But we absolutely loved it. It's cool. It's better than a tent. It's an upgrade from a tent. It's cool. I mean, it's so good for Australia as well, off the back of, for tourists and all that. So
yeah, I think I would just really love to see those like big landmarks, like the Big Banana and all that being rented out. I think that would just like be a huge boom for the tourism industry and for me, because I would love that. The toboggan.
A night in the Big Prawn.
Oh god! Well, that's like what they're doing at Taronga Zoo. You can actually stay the night there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amongst the animals, I've seen that.
Animals. Yeah, so these are a few other homes. I'm interested, Billy. Are there any of the ones that we've seen so far that you would be interested in either buying or renting in?
I think I'd go for the Big Shoe out of all
The
them.
Big Shoe?
Yeah, what about you?
Oh, I do like the Big Shoe as well. I feel like there's something very homey about it.
Yeah, it's a good feel.
But
It's a good feel. The submarine looks a bit cold because it's, just a box.
Very metal.
yeah.
I do really want to see the inside of
the
the big Idaho Potato Hotel. Oh.
Yeah, they're all quite funny actually.
Yeah.
There you go. Anything else to add?
No, well, I'd be interested to hear if anyone else has any final thoughts about their favorite home that they've seen today.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think of ways that like the average person selling their home, like what can they do to add little quirky features on it? Just obviously they can't renovate a 2-bedroom apartment in DY to look like a shoe.
No.
But I think there are ways to even design your home. Like I'm now thinking very basics. Like I've seen virtual furniture even completely like
Yeah.
redesign a home and make it so much more appealing to the buyer.
I think quirky, something fun, good feel.
Yeah.
That's always the way.
I think so too. Anyway, I think that's about it today. We'll leave you with this beautiful image of the shoe.
Yep.
Oh, but I hope everyone avoids the rain today. It's terrible in the northern beaches and
grim.
in Greater Sydney. But that's been Morning Minutes with Billy and Nat.
Thanks for joining.
Easy. See you guys.